What's going on, everybody? It's Justin Wolf from Wolf Customs. Wanted to show you guys a new pack. Everybody knows I'm a huge fan of the ILBE Military Marines pack, and a while back me and a buddy of mine, Malcolm, made a trade, and this is what I got. Was the Molle 2 ruck. Very beginning, you know, I didn't know that I was going to like it all that much, and I'll explain a little bit why here in a little bit. But after I learned a few things about this pack, I realized that I'm a pretty big fan of it. As far as which do I like better, this one or the ILBE, in my personal opinion, I think they're pretty much the same pack. This one holds just a little bit more stuff, but in the grand scheme of things, I mean, they're both fantastic packs. So I really can't make a decision as to which one I like better. But anyway, I'm going to show you a little bit about this pack. I'm definitely no expert on this on these systems at all. So mainly it was just to get you to take a look at it, show you what I keep in it, and you know, who knows, maybe it's something that you might want to consider as well. Now, I do want to say one thing before I actually, you know, start showing you this pack and everything else is, number one, this is not a bug out bag, okay? I do not have this pack set up in a bug out fashion. This pack is set up with the stuff that I carry with me when I go out and enjoy myself, you know, out in the wilderness and everything else. I've got things in here to make life a little bit more comfortable for my daughter and everything else when she comes too. So, like I said, this is not a bug out bag. This is just, let's go out, let's have some good, you know, good time, good quality family time around the fire. First thing you'll notice is I got some real nice Molle pockets on the sides. These things are very deep, hold a really good amount of gear. Alright, let's go ahead and open up this pouch here and see what I keep in here. This is mainly where I keep all my cooking supplies. Got a Stanley Cook Set. Absolutely love this thing. I use it all the time. As well as a nice stainless steel cup. Also got a nice MSR Seagull. Absolutely love these things too. Hold a good amount of gear. Or, excuse me, not necessarily gear, but a good amount of items inside these things. You know, I got several storage bowls and everything else in there. A couple Cliff Bars. But that's really all I keep in this side. It's just a couple cooking containers. Alright, now on this side, this is where I keep all my miscellaneous stuff. First thing I have in here is my Sawyer water filter system. I just did a video on this thing, and I gotta tell you, I've really grown fond of this water filter system, and I strongly recommend it. And if you haven't seen that video that I put up with this thing, you really ought to watch it because it's a great filter. Nice little Laplander saw. You guys seen a while back I did a video on these, the SOL Escape Bivvy, and I've just decided I'm going to start keeping one of these in here as well as all my vehicles and everything else, because when it's really chilly and everything else, this thing does an amazing job. I mean, it really does. When it says it reflects 80% of your body heat, they're not lying. And it's very breathable. Haven't had a problem with it. I've used this 5 times now, and it's still held up. No problems with it at all. Of course, headlamps, medical kits. Like I said, just a bunch of miscellaneous junk. Alright, so let's go ahead and open this thing up, and I'm going to show you exactly what I keep in here. First things first, I always keep my hawk with me. Small hatchet, axe, whatever it is, you know, that you prefer. The very first thing on the very top is this right here. This is my sleep system. And I am not going to go into detail with what is in here. And the reason for that is because I'm going to be shooting another video on this particular setup right here that eventually I'm going to be offering on the Wolf Customs page and everything else. So stay tuned, because you guys are really going to dig this system. I think it's going to be It's a great system for a very reasonable price, so you're going to really enjoy it. Dry Tinder pouch. I always keep dry tinder with me. You guys know why. Gore-Tex, top and bottom. If I can get my bottoms out of there. Still got mud all over them from my last muddy trip. Okay, so now inside here, one thing that I hate is being cold and wet. This pack, the material and everything else is very water resistant. And I say water resistant just because this has got folds and seams and everything else on it. When you have folds and seams, water is going to get in. So one thing I do is I keep all my stuff in dry bags. You guys have seen that, me preach that over and over and over again. Something that I've recently started using is one of these buckets. You know, people have been putting buckets in their packs for quite some time. Dave Canterbury showed that a long time ago. And I always thought it was a great idea. I just never really, I personally just never had a need for it until now. And that's simply because of that Sawyer water filter. That Sawyer water filter, I hook up to the bottom of this, collect my water, hang it up in a tree, and then I've got clean drinking water. I don't have to go back and forth the river and everything else. So that's kind of nice. The other thing is, a lot of people are going to be wondering how much gear I actually keep inside this dry bag and how I get it to compress down into the bucket. So I'm going to show you that as well. I actually keep a very good amount of stuff in this dry bag. Inside this dry bag on the very bottom is actually the intermediate section of my MSS sleep system. And other than that, I keep, let's see here, I keep a set of polypros. I keep 2 sets of wool socks. I keep a pair of gloves. I keep a stocking cap, a scarf, a hooded fleece sweatshirt, and a wool sweatshirt. Those are the items that I'm currently keeping in there. And you know, that will change depending on the season and everything else. But right now with colder weather and all that good stuff, I always want to make sure I have a few extra goodies that I can throw on, you know, if I need, you know, to keep a little bit more warmth on me. Or if I get wet, you know, I can change into the stuff that's in here, dry out the clothes that's on my back, you know, and cycle them that way. Plus, I always sleep with my base layer. 1 pair of wool socks, my polypros, and a hooded fleece shirt if it's going to get very cold. Most of the time, I just simply sleep in, you know, my polypros and a wool socks and maybe a stocking cap. All right, so if you're wondering how to get all that down in there, is what I do is before I even collapse any of this, open your seal, of course. Alright, now before I push any air out whatsoever, that's when I start stuffing it down in here. If you try to press all of this air out and compact it down at the bottom, you're going to have a real hard time shoving everything down into this bucket. So if you leave everything nice and loose on the inside, and then start packing everything in here, just works a heck of a lot better. Okay, so we've got it that far. Now we're just simply going to sit on it. Let all that air work out. And then reach down here, close it. And it's ready to throw back into the bag. Now there is one more item that I keep shoved down in the bottom of my bag, and that's my sleeping pad. I'm not going to pull it out right now just because well, it's kind of a pain in the butt to get back down in there, quite frankly. It's just a self-inflating pad though. You guys have seen it before in all my other videos. Alright, now before you put your pack on, I'm going to show you guys a trick. It's going to save on your back a little bit. Stand right in front of your pack, just like it is right here. Lay it right on its face. Okay? Now, you are going to stand right in front of your pack, and you're going to grab the frame right here, just like this. Alright, so when you're standing in front of your pack, you got a hold of your frame. You can pick up with your legs, okay? Kick off with your knee. And you can kick this up over the top and slip it right down on top of your back, just like that, before you go cinching everything down. Now, first thing that I do is I lean forward and I grab my shoulder straps. If I can find it, there we go. And I cinch them down, just like that. Then I come back with my waist belt. Waist belt down really good. Now right here on the top front, right here, these straps here, when you cinch them down, it pulls the pack right up on top of your shoulders. So now all the weight of this pack sitting right here on my hips. I don't feel it on my shoulders. Okay, this pack probably weighs a good 60 pounds, 65 pounds. And I gotta tell you, the way that this pack sits feels like 45 pounds. Hope you guys have enjoyed this video, and as always, have a good one.